away. Shrewsbury in blue and white, Charlton all in red. Shrewsbury playing towards the north stand, the away end in this first half. Decent crowd inside the greenhouse meadow. Not too many Charlton fans, maybe 250, 300 maybe. But we're all looking forward to a cracking Carling Cup tie. We had 6 goals and penalties against Ipswich this time a year ago in this competition. Let's see what tonight brings. Charlton on the attack straight away with the fair-haired Lee Martin. Here's Powell Abbott, former Huddersfield and Darlington player, played here before in League 2, and he wins a throw off Sharps. Charlton all in red, playing towards the Salop Leisure stand. Very bright sunshine here. We're having to shield our eyes from the sun. Charlton have the ball with Bally Smart, shoots him a long way out, takes a deflection off Disley. So Charlton will have a corner straight away. Bright start for the London club.
Yeah, it is. They've kept ball retention straight away, Stuart. You can see that, I think the manager Parkinson, he loves playing football, and that's exactly what his team are going to try and do, keep possession of the ball.
So a corner to Charlton Athletic. Chris Solly has made his way over to this near side to take it, spots the ball up, here it comes high into the middle, headed away by Sharps, the town captain. Wright with real composure scoops the ball away, and now there's a chance for Ainsworth to stretch his legs. Good chasing from Ainsworth, forces the error out of Stavrino, and Shrewsbury will have a throw right on halfway in front of Phil Parkinson, the suited and booted Charlton Athletic manager. Second full season at the helm for Parkinson. They've had some big name managers since Alan Kirbishley departed after all those years in charge. The likes of Ian Dowie couldn't really do it for the Addicts. Now Phil Parkinson hoping to bring back the good times. Ball on halfway with Terry Racon. They work it out to the far side. This is a swift break from the team from the Valley. Wagstaff 30 yards out, right hand side, has a go at Sadler. There's a pullback, shooting chance maybe. 2 time players closing quickly on Smart though. O'Donnell got a toe end in there, and now time can break with a fleet footed Ainsworth. Carries the ball over the halfway line, shows a bit too much of that to Solly. Loose ball collected by Disley, poor ball though from Disley. A promising attack, Peters out. Sharp with an agricultural clearance, it turns into being a decent ball. Out to right on the left hand side. Harold now gets involved, looks to give the return to the winger. It's overhit and it goes through to Warner, who's in goal for Charlton tonight. Fast and furious start to this cup tie.
Certainly is, Stuart. No chances given on either side. Charlton have come here to do a job tonight. They'd started off very, very quickly and putting Town under pressure, but Town just starting to get into the rhythm of things, getting hold of the ball and just making Charlton think a little.
I'll give the lineups in a moment here during a convenient break-in play. Here's Miguel Lira, central defender, one of 8 changes made by Parkinson tonight to the Charlton side, who kicked off the season with a victory over Bournemouth. Long ball towards Abbott, can't take it in his stride, and it goes through to the new goalkeeper Ben Smith, once again preferred to Chris Neal this evening. This sun, I don't want to moan about it being a nice sunny evening, Steve.
It's annoying,
It is annoying from where we are trying to watch a football match, using the programme to shield the sun from our eyes as it comes down over the west stand here at the Greenhouse Meadow. 3 minutes played, BBC Shropshire, no score in this Carling Cup first round tie. Shrewsbury and Charlton Athletic. Here's McAllister, full JP for him, to Ainsworth. Robinson, the hat-trick man from Saturday. Ainsworth again, looks to feed Harold, and it's a bit too close to the keeper. Out comes Warner, who slides it in. That's a very bright pink goalkeeping jersey of his, and he'll look to set up a Charlton attack here. No score. Here's the side selected by Graham Turner tonight. He's got the same problem, Steve. He's having to shield the sun from his eyes as well. Graham Turner in a smart charcoal grey suit this evening. Just one change from the team which beat Bradford on Saturday. Kev McIntyre suspended. Sean McAllister started in midfield. Just Drake up because Charlton are on the attack. They're not though now because Raven ties up really well for Shrewsbury Town. Here's Wright, the former Walsall player, carries the ball over halfway on the left hand side, having a go at Simon Francis. Francis stood his ground there. Good, durable lower league defender. And now Charlton can spring forward with Wagstaff, one of the survivors from Saturday's starting 11. Wagstaff crosses Abbott, and he's put him miles over the bar, and he was onside. Another flag was up actually, and I bet Abbott is mightily relieved. He had so much time there, and it was a late flag as well. Abbott didn't know when he made connection. And he sliced it horribly over the top, and I bet he's mightily relieved now, Steve Cross, that the flag was up to save his blushes.
Yeah, I thought the linesman kept his flag down, Stuart, and it took an awful lump up off the turf. And even though this turf is absolutely pristine by the groundsman, just took a little lump up off the turf as he hit it, and it was an awful miss, wasn't it? But luckily Shrewsbury got the better of it.
Disley, marauding run from midfield, finds Ainsworth, 20 yards out, right-hand side. Ainsworth goes the long way round, having a go at the left-back Solly, and Ainsworth panics him sufficiently enough to win Shrewsbury's first corner of this Carling Cup tie.
Yeah, whenever line linesman gets the ball, Stuart, the defensive back off, and if he knocks it past, the defender's either got to kick it out for a corner, or Ainsworth will get his cross in, and I like seeing plays like this, attack the fullbacks.
Corner then to Shrewsbury Town. Their first of the night is taken by Ainsworth, headed on by O'Donnell, and Charlton hack the ball away from on the edge of their 6-yard box. No score in this Carling Cup first round tie. Wright, who started on the left-hand side where he ended the Bradford game on Saturday. Sharp's the captain in the centre circle, the former Rotherham man, with a lovely elegant crossfield ball to Ainsworth. Bit lazy the touch from Ainsworth, and he gives it straight to one of the centre halves, Yado Mambo. These are the sides then. Shrewsbury first, Ben Smith in goal, back four Dave Raven, Ian Sharp's the captain, Daniel O'Donnell and Matt Sadler. Midfield four, Mark Wright, Sean McAllister, Craig Disley and Lionel Ainsworth, and the front two, Matt Harold and Jake Robinson. Charlton side in a moment. Here's Ainsworth cutting in from the right-hand side, does well, drives it into the midriff for the goalkeeper there.
Yeah, he's getting the ball, isn't he? Staying right on this touchline, getting the chalk dust on his boots almost, Stuart. He's right on the line, and the balls are being played out to him, pinged out to him. Fullbacks backing off every time, and that'll allow Ainsworth to get crosses in.
Raven in the right back position, risky ball on the edge of his box, just about got away with it, with Abbott waiting to pounce. That will do Graham Turner's blood pressure no good whatsoever, but he had the confidence in himself and he just about got away with it. 0-0. Charlton have the ball just inside the town half. Heavy touch from Lee Martin, and now Shrewsbury can spring forward with Robinson, telegraphed his intended pass, but right now takes up the challenge. Strong run from the winger down the left-hand side. He'll go again. Heavy challenge he receives, and this time Mambo goes lunging in. It's a header well won by O'Donnell on halfway. Little flick from Disley. Neither side really settled as yet. It's fast and furious. Typical cup tie early on. O'Donnell collects just inside his own half to Disley. Strays the ball to this near side. Town looking to use their wide men as much as possible. Ainsworth can kill it dead this time, and Charlton will have a throw. This is the Charlton side, selected by Phil Parkinson tonight. Then Ross Warner, the keeper. At the back, Simon Francis, Miguel Lira, Yado Mambo and Chris Solly. In midfield, Scott Wagstaff, Alex Stavrino, Terry Rackon, Borley Smart, and up front it's Lee Martin and Pavel Abbott. No score. Half-time in the Telford friendly against Wolves. Quick update from Nick Southall.
Telford 0, Wolves 3. The Wolves' third goal came 4 minutes before half-time. A terrible mistake between Martin Naylor, the left back, and the keeper Ryan Young. The back pass running underneath Ryan Young's boot into the back of the net to make it 3. Wolves had earlier taken the lead after 5 minutes through Sam Winnall's penalty, and then doubled that through Jake Cassidy after 16 minutes. But at half-time, it's Telford 0, Wolves 3.
Thank you, Nick. No score here. You've missed nothing in the minute or so you were away. Hearing from Nick at the new book set. 8.5 minutes played here in the Carling Cup first round. It's Shrewsbury Town 0, Charlton Athletic 0. Stuart Dunn and Steve Cross, the Town old boy, who played in a fair few League Cup ties in blue and amber in days gone by. Your commentary team as always here on 96 FM. Couple of early goals elsewhere in the Carling Cup tonight. Southend 0, Bristol City 1, and it's Leeds 1, Lincoln 0. Johnny Howson with the early goal for Leeds at Elland Road. Charlton on the attack here with Abbott, the former Poland under-21 international. Has support here from Rackon. Charlton indulging a bit of keep ball midway inside the Shrewsbury half. They work the ball out to the right-hand side on this pristine Greenhouse Meadow pitch. The fullback Francis joins the attack. Ball comes in, and it's Disley who clears once and then again, and he turns, and a really clever ball from Disley to Ainsworth. He'll go into the Charlton half of the field now. He's got Robinson and Harold up with him. Ainsworth, is he heading down a blind alley here? Could do with some support. Then he beats the fullback easily. He complains he was boxed off. And the linesman keeps his flag down and it goes harmlessly behind for a goal kick. Did he have a case there for a free kick, Ainsworth?
No, I think the left back of Charlton did very well there. Ainsworth tried to push it past him for pace, and the left back for Charlton is quite quick as well, so he's going to have to figure out a way of just dropping his shoulder, perhaps going one way, coming back inside on the other, and working out how he can beat this full-back. He's done it on 2 occasions and got good crosses in. Ryan Ainsworth is such an exciting player. You have to give him a little bit, if he loses the ball a couple of times.
Leeds have got a second against Lincoln. 2-0 they lead now. Luciano Becchio, the Argentine, with a second for Leeds United. Wouldn't be a bad tie, would it, if Shrewsbury were to get through? Trip to Elland Road. Portsmouth safely through last night. 2-1 victory for Pompey at the Football League New Boys Stevenage Borough. No score here, though, in this Carling Cup first round tie. Shrewsbury Town 0, Charlton Athletic 0. The ball is back in those so far safe hands. Ben Smith, the former Doncaster goalkeeper, in his orange top and black shorts, rolls it out to O'Donnell, to Sadler. O'Donnell, schooled at Liverpool, reserve team regular at Anfield, before joining Crewe and then on to Shrewsbury. Uses right. Town's passing game breaks down here, just shy of the halfway line. Well won back by Wright, though. Town working really hard for one another. O'Donnell again, 20 yards from his own goal. Plays it forward to Wright, and here's Robinson in the centre circle, pirouettes and looks to play a killer through ball to Ainsworth. Idea was there, just a bit too much on it. It goes out to play for a goal kick, but the fans clearly appreciating the intentions.
Yeah, it was a super ball, wasn't it? Ainsworth showing, what a quick pair of heels he's got, but even he couldn't catch that. Just a bit of overhit from Robinson, and as you say, with the pitch being so slick, with the water being on it, Stuart, he just carried it out. But it's a bit similar to Saturday, isn't it? This opening 10-15 minutes. Both sides a bit cagey, testing each other out, and I think Shrewsbury just settling down a little bit and getting their passing game going.
Well, if it ends the same as Saturday, we'll all be smiling come quarter to 10 tonight. Super start to the season, wasn't it, on Saturday? 3-1 victory here against a much fancied Bradford. Jake Robinson, the hat-trick hero, the talisman on the day, and it has been very tight and cagey so far. More goals in the Carling Cup. Chesterfield 0, Middlesbrough 1. Scott MacDonald with the goal for Middlesbrough, and it's Peterborough 0, Rotherham 1. Marvin Marshall with the early goal there for the Millers. Town looking to make headway down the left-hand side here, front of that huge blue and amber breathe on 'em Salop flag, which spans blocks 17 and 18 of that west stand on the far side from our commentary position at the back of the road, and Wycherley stand here at the Greenhouse Meadows. 12.5 minutes played. BBC Radio Shropshire, and it's all square. Shrewsbury 0, Charlton 0. Gorgeous sun-kissed evening. The sun still not going down. I suppose we shouldn't be complaining. It's nice to have the sunshine. We'll be cold enough and wrapped up, and I'm sure you'll have your tights on, Steve, before we know it, keeping yourself wrapped up from the elements. So we're not going to moan too much about it being a gorgeous sun-kissed, balmy August evening. Many Town fans, I'm sure, still away on holiday, which goes to underline just what a good crowd it was for the game against Bradford on Saturday. Here's Robinson, plays it against the shins of Wagstaff, and Shrewsbury will have a throw right on halfway. A couple of the Charlton subs having a stretch here. Kyle Reid, we can see, the former Wolves and West Ham man, and the veteran star man, as he's dubbed in the matchday programme here tonight, Gary Docherty, the former Republic of Ireland international, the ex-Norwich and Tottenham man, who's among Phil Parkinson's Charlton Athletic subs this evening. Here's Ainsworth for Shrewsbury to Wright. McAllister now in the centre circle, knocks it to this near side, and Raven takes a touch. Back in field to McAllister, who tried to let the ball run. It didn't quite carry, but that's neat and tidy from McAllister. And he invites the little tackle from Martin. The Shrewsbury will have a free kick taken quickly by McAllister. O'Donnell, very quiet around the meadow so far tonight, just waiting for the game to really take off the fans, as we all are. O'Donnell, midway inside his own half, nudges it to McAllister, who looks a tidy player in the middle of the park, uses the ball nice and simply.
Yeah, it certainly does, Stuart, and the thing of this season, or the first 3-4 games of the pre-season and on Saturday, is that McAllister and McIntyre, they seem to have a newfound confidence of receiving the ball in tight areas, and not just hacking it away anywhere, and that's, augurs well for the rest of the season.
Shrewsbury on the attack, right-hand side, Raven in towards Robertson, who gets there ahead of the keeper, he's gone down. So given here, it's a goal kick. He went down in instalments almost. The keeper protesting his innocence, shows a little anxious moment for the keeper all the same. But Robertson tried to get in on the blind side there from Ravens, speculative through ball. And it was his touch that took the ball out of play. And that will be a goal kick to Charlton Athletic. Warner in his bright pink goalkeeping jersey. His second choice of the Valley. Rob Elliott is the first choice with the Addicts these days. So a big chance for Warner to maybe stake a claim tonight. Side from Woking. Town on the attack with Robinson. Robinson shoots and it's a stop target. Bent it towards the top corner. Didn't quite come back in time. That just goes to show the confidence that little Robinson has at the moment.
Yeah, it's a confidence shot that was, Stuart. Yeah, just pulled it wide, beat a couple of the Charlton players, and just couldn't wrap his foot round enough to guide it in that top right-hand corner. But Jake Robinson, if he carries on like this, that 20 goals a season, I think will be a near mark for him to get rather than a far mark.
And he knows how to get the best out of centre forwards, Graham Turner, that's for sure. Need I say any more than Steve Bull and Andy Much, the men who spearheaded his Wolves attack to such good effect for so many years, Bull and Much. If Robinson can have half the impact here at Shrewsbury Town, we'll all be very happy. Robinson, lovely spotter's badge of a crossfield ball to right on the left-hand side. His cross is blocked off by the shins of Francis, and out of play it goes, and there will be a throw-in to Shrewsbury Town. Look to play an expansive game whenever possible. If you've got wingers, you might as well use them. And here is another one of those wingers, right. Crossfield switch to Raven, to McAllister. Great little turn from Ainsworth. McAllister coming in through the middle, well snuffed out by Lira, the central defender for Charlton. The Londoners now spring forward down this left-hand side with Borley Smart. Has support from Lee Martin, former Man United youngster. Martin drives it across the face, and no one on the end of that one. And it goes harmlessly out for a Town throw in the left-back position. Got a bit overexcited there, Lee Martin.
Yeah, a little bit, didn't he? He'd done quite well, gets in Raven on his right-hand side in the box, and I think it's just the quality of the cross, Stuart. Instead of just clipping it to the back post, he absolutely smashed it across, and obviously no one there at the back post. But the pleasing thing for me was when that move broke down, Stuart, Lionel Ainsworth, David Raven had gone forward to try and get up with his centre forwards, and Lionel Ainsworth was filling in it right back, which is great to see. Give you some more Carling Cup updates shortly, but Town enjoying a good little spell here, but that's overhit from Robinson. You can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to ping the ball out to this near side, just went over the head of Ainsworth. Carling Cup latest then. Norwich 0, Gillingham 1. Could be an upset of Carrow Road maybe. Northampton 1, Brighton 0. Dagenham are 1 up at MK Dons, and Watford have the lead at Aldershot. Dan Graham for the Hornets. 0-0 here at the Greenhouse Meadow. BBC Radio Shropshire. Live commentary as always of this and every Town game here on your #1 football station. In the pre-season friendly at the New Book End tonight, Telford 3-0 down at half-time to a very young-looking Wolverhampton Wanderers side. That game kicked off at 7 o'clock, so it's half-time at the moment. We'll be joining Nick Southall in the next 15-20 minutes to see if there's any way back to Telford. Charlton move the ball forward here to Abbott. Midway inside the Town half, nudges it back to Stavrino in the centre circle, sweeps it out to the right hand side. It's won back by Sadler, the on-loan Watford man. Sadler and Wright play a nice give and go. Here's Sadler over halfway to Robinson, stabs it into the path of McAllister, to Disley now, prowling around with real menace in that centre circle. Disley again, good to see him, hopefully over all of those injury problems which held him back last season. Switches it out to the far side to Sadler. Nice hold of play from Big Harold, who's been on the fringe of the game so far. Here's McAllister, lovely one-touch football again from Shrewsbury Town. McAllister to Robinson, facing the right way now, but the challenge comes in from Lira, and Charlton tidy up, and then they go long, and they play it out of play, and that will be a Shrewsbury throw in the left back position. Just little signs maybe, Steve, that Shrewsbury are getting their passing game together at the moment. Yeah, well, the players, Graham Sign, Stuart, that they're footballers in the sense that they can receive a pass in tight positions, and also the weight of the pass that they give to their teammate as well. It's so important. It's rifling something into your teammate and making it hard for him to control. But Graham seems to have got an air of confidence about the players at the moment that whenever they are on the pitch, they can receive the ball and pass it quite comfortably.
McAllister this time gives it away as he swept it to this right-hand side, but Raven wins it back. Now little Ainsworth has Raven just ahead of him on the right-hand side. Lovely return ball. Here's a chance for Ainsworth to show his paces down the right-hand side. Good covering tackle though from Miguel Lira. Nice play though from the right back and the right winger there for Shrewsbury Town. And Town have a throw some 15 yards from the corner flag on this right-hand side as they play towards about 300 travelling Charlton supporters. Raven with the throw to Robinson. Clever touch for Ainsworth. Crosses left-footed towards the far post. Bit too high for Harold. Backpedaling. Gets his head to that one. Here's Wright for Shrewsbury Town. To Sadler now. Sadler to Disley. 25 yards out. Square it goes to McAllister. Great belief in each other's abilities, this Shrewsbury side. Playing some really intricate, easy on the eye passing football. Here's Wright, 30 yards from goal, left hand side, elevates the ball into the box. Harold rises well, heads it away from goal though, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, great idea, lovely ball in from Wright again, and Harold just hoping that Robinson was going to dart into the box, just a little nod down into the path of Robinson, but just for one straight Robinson wasn't aware of what was going to happen, and the ball aimlessly went out for a goal kick. But possession-wise, you know, Shrewsbury are bossing the game, Stuart.
It's still Shrewsbury 0, Charlton 0, 21 minutes on the clock. Remember, this tie must be decided tonight. If we're level at the end of 90 minutes, half an hour of extra time, and if we're still level, it would be penalties. Always exciting, aren't they? But I think we'd all hope that Shrewsbury can wrap this one up inside the 90 minutes to conserve a bit of energy with one eye on Saturday when they go to Macclesfield. Talking of whom, Macclesfield lead at Leicester tonight in the Carling Cup. Nat Brown for the Silkmen. Leicester 0, Macclesfield 1 at the Walkers Stadium. Yep, Shrewsbury at Macclesfield on Saturday, first away game of the season. Full commentary from the Moss Rose. Our build-up starts at 2 o'clock. Elsewhere in the Carling Cup, Northampton have got a second against Brighton. 2-0 to the Cobblers now, Billy Mackay. Oxford lead Bristol Rovers 1-0. And Shefki Kuki has missed a penalty for Swansea. It's still Swansea 0, Barnet 0, as it is here at the Greenhouse Meadow. Charlton on the attack here with Bally Smart. Here's Smart again. Plays it in field to Terry Rackon. Rackon spins and plays a diagonal ball into the box, headed down by Wagstaff, and it goes harmlessly through to the goalkeeper. Billy's the goalkeeper for Shrewsbury Town, Ben Smith, who hasn't had anything at all to do so far. It's been a very leisurely opening 22 and a half minutes for the Shrewsbury Town goalkeeper, who's been well protected by the efforts of the hard-working men in front of him. Keeper bounces the ball 3 times and then clears. Harold's control is not the best on this occasion, and it goes straight back to a red-shirted Charlton player. It's Simon Francis, recent signing from Southend United. This would beat Sheffield United and Bradford City. He's a useful addition to the Charlton squad. Here's Lira. He's been at the Valley for a couple of years now. The Spanish centre-half who has played in La Liga in his homeland in the past. Here's McAllister for Shrewsbury to Robinson, who's had the one shot of note so far. It whistled just wide. It's still 0-0. Harold to Ainsworth, 20 yards from goal. Raven on the overlap. Ainsworth asking an awful lot of Raven, just a bit too much in the end. But even so, the fans again applaud the effort. It was interesting to read the programme column of the captain Ian Sharps on Saturday. He did say Shrewsbury wanted to play this passing style. Some balls will go astray. It's inevitable, especially in the early weeks of the season. So he has asked for the supporters to be patient and not get on the backs of the boys if there's an odd misplaced pass or two. And clearly the fans are responding to that sort of message.
Yeah, they certainly are, Stuart. They appreciate that the players are trying to play football. As you say, 1 or 2 passes will go astray, but as long as the fans realise that it's a new system that Graham's trying, that it's good for the fans.
Ainsworth having another go at Solly here, the first choice Charlton left back. He goes out of play. That will be a throw to Shrewsbury Town. Phil Parkinson, who has enjoyed a cup victory against Shrewsbury before. I remember in his Colchester days, the U's were 2-1 winners in the FA Cup second round at the old Gay Meadow. Goals from Chris Uwalumo and a certain Jamie Curitan, who couldn't hit a barn door, sadly, for Shrewsbury Town in the dozen or so games he had here on loan at the back end of last season. Work for O'Donnell to do here. The centre half on the penalty spot does it well. He's done well, O'Donnell. No frills at times, can play a bit of football as well. You can tell he's been at Liverpool and a total footballing side like Crewe. Difficult not to have sympathy with Shane Cansdell, Sheriff, who I'm sure would have hoped to have started the season at centre-half. But so far, Danny O'Donnell justifying his place in the side.
Yeah, certainly is, Stuart. I thought it was only...
Charlton scored out of nothing. Long ball into the box, and it's Abbott who swivelled, and it's Abbott who gives Charlton the lead. And Tanner undone it to Londoners' first effort of the game, and it's ended up in the back of the town net. 25 minutes in, it's Shrewsbury 0, Charlton Athletic 1.
I think we gave O'Donnell a kiss of death there, Stuart, unfortunately. A long ball from the Charlton right back, caught him out unfortunately, but a fantastic piece of skill from Powell Abbott, the Charlton centre forward. Killed it dead with his right foot and then volleyed it into the bottom left-hand corner of the Shrewsbury net with his left foot. Absolute classic goal. But O'Donnell, I'm afraid, won't be happy with his contribution.
It really was a kiss of death. Commentators curse and all that. Came out of absolutely nothing into the blinding sun as well. Just make out Abbott wrapping his right boot round the ball, and it whistled into the back of the net. It's Shrewsbury 0, Charlton 1. Well, we saw on Saturday Town can come from behind, and now they have to do it again. Shrewsbury 0, Charlton 1 in the Carling Cup first round at the Greenhouse Meadow, live here on BBC Radio Shropshire. Telford are still 3-0 down at home to Wolves. Second half should be just about underway. We'll cross to Nick Southall shortly for the latest from Wellington. But Shrewsbury, a goal down here against the run of play, it has to be said.
Yeah, definitely, wasn't it? Shrewsbury were on top, keeping possession, never looked like conceding a goal. But once again, Powell Abbott, we've seen him play for various sides over the past 5 or 6 years, Stuart, and he's a very, very good striker. And he showed then with his control and his finish, it was exemplary.
I'm really delighted to be a Charlton player. Joined them from Oldham Athletic a couple of weeks ago. There's a few team sheets get blown about here as the wind gets up on this gorgeous August evening. It's Shrewsbury 0, Charlton 1. Cross to Nick Southall very shortly for an update. Here comes Charlton again with Lee Martin, drops the shoulder, 20 yards out, mazy run from Martin into the penalty area, drives in, Abbott's in there again, Abbott scores! 2-0 to Charlton! 2 goals in as many minutes. Abbott stabbed in there ahead of Ian Sharps, and Town's hopes of an upset are diminishing with every passing minute in Shrewsbury 0, Charlton Athletic 2.
Well, you've got to give credit to Martin, the Charlton centre forward, who picked the ball up just about 10 yards outside the 18-yard area. He's had a mazy run that saw 2 or 3 Shrewsbury players have a little bit of a sniff at him and a go at him, but he's got into the box, he's smashed the ball right across the face of the goal. And once again, Powell Abbott, who's star man at the moment for Charlton, nipping in front. I think it was Sharps, centre half.
Should he have done better, Big Sharps?
I think he should have.
Caught on his heels a little bit.
Possibly more aware of where Abbott was in the box. But take your hat off to Abbott. His predator instincts, Stuart, is shown why he's got his second goal.
Well, that's knocked the stuffing out of everybody, hasn't it? Shrewsbury were playing really well for 25 minutes. They were knocking at the door. Robinson had gone close. And then 2 goals in as many minutes from Pavel Abbott, the former Poland under-21 international. And Shrewsbury right up against it. Shrewsbury 0, Charlton 2. What have Town got in their locker to turn this one around? The fans will stay with them, that's for sure. Sadler to take this throw-in out on the far side, looking for some movement. It's offered from McAllister. Sadler again uses right, weaves his way in field. Town really need a goal back quickly, ideally at least before half-time, to give them a fighting chance of making a tie of this one. Right again, seeing plenty of the ball. Intricate, into McAllister. Here's Sadler, plays it against Mambo, the centre half, in those bright yellow boots. And Shrewsbury will have a throw adjacent to the edge of the penalty area. Shrewsbury 0, Charlton 2 here. BBC Radio Shropshire, extra time on a Tuesday night. Sadler seeking some movement. Who's there to offer himself? It's Robinson, the hat-trick hero from the weekend, and now McAllister takes over. Nowhere to go. All a bit too tight and intricate maybe from Shrewsbury Town. It's all well and good trying to develop this passing style, but occasionally you need to mix it up a bit more maybe.
Yeah, you do, and as you say, on Saturday, Stuart, Ainsworth and Wright were putting crosses in left, right and centre and causing an absolute panic in the Bradford defence. I think apart from the first 15 minutes when Ainsworth has put in balls across the box, I don't think we've had a cross in the last 10 or 15 minutes of this game, and I think that's perhaps get the ball out to the wide men, put some balls in the box and get one of the midfield players going past and trying to get some chances on that Charlton goal.
Lots of goals elsewhere in the Carling Cup. Former Shrewsbury Town striker James Constable has scored for Oxford. It's Oxford 3, Bristol Rovers 1. Norwich have equalised against Gillingham. Chris Martin, Norwich 1, Gills 1 at Carrow Road. Millwall have taken the lead at Wickham. The evergreen Neil Harris for the Lions. Scunthorpe 0, Oldham 1. And Swansea have taken the lead against Barnet. Here at the Greenhouse Meadow, it's Shrewsbury Town 0, Charlton Athletic 2. Town creaking, having conceded twice in a couple of minutes. Pavel Abbott with both of them for the team from the Valley in southeast London. Telford against Wolves tonight. Half-time it was 3-0 to Wolves in that final pre-season friendly for the Bucks. What's the latest, Nick Southall?
Still 3-0 to Wolves against Telford at the Newbold Head. Stuart, 8 minutes into the second half. 2 changes at half-time. Defender Liam Murray going on for Carl Broadhurst, the former Hereford man, and John Adams on for Richard Davis. Just one chance of note, 2 minutes into the half. Craig Mills free kick testing the keeper Dan East, but it was pushed behind for a corner. Still Telford 0, Wolves 3.
Thank you, Nick. Half an hour played at the Greenhouse Meadow. Shrewsbury 0, Charlton 2 in the first round of the Carling Cup tonight. It's live, it's here on BBC Radio Shropshire. Had quite a few full match commentaries already, haven't we, this season? Thanks to the exploits of the new Saints in Europe, beating Bohemians, giving Anderlecht a game as well over 2 legs. Next up for them, CSKA Sofia in the Europa League. All a bit surreal, isn't it? Here comes Charlton with Lee Martin. Martin shoots from 20 yards and he scores! Smith beaten to his right-hand side, and this is in danger of becoming a ranked 3-0 Charlton, and we've only played 31.5 minutes.
Well, that man Martin again, Stuart, he's picked the ball up once again in the middle of the field, and nobody from the Shrewsbury Town side has closed him down. He's been allowed to run 10-15 yards, not challenged, and he's weaved inside, took it on his right foot. Unfortunately, Ben Smith was unsighted in the Shrewsbury goal. It's gone through a ruck of players. And to be fair to Charlton, they deserve this 3-0 lead. Been excellent in the past 10 minutes. And this man Martin is a real live wire.
Do you think he was unsighted, or did he get down a bit slow there? Are we being a bit harsh to him? Or am I being
maybe a bit harsh, I'm not sure, but I'd like to see it again. But as you say,
right in the corner, wasn't it?
It was, and it was a long way out though, Stuart, so we'd have to wait and see.
Lee Martin, who was schooled at Manchester United, used to play at Ipswich Town as well, and it's 3-0 to Charlton Athletic. Were we really talking about an upset 7 minutes ago when it was 0-0? It's remarkable how quickly things can change. Shrewsbury Town just have to pick themselves up and go again. It's not the only one-sided in terms of scoreline cup tie tonight. Leeds are now 3 up on Lincoln at Ellen Road. Sam with the third. Town on the attack here. Ball in towards Harold. Suspicion of handball against Mambo. Referee not interested. And also at the Kassam Stadium, Oxford have a fourth. Oxford 4, Bristol Rovers 1. Jack Midson with a fourth for Oxford United. QPR 0, Port Vale 1. Big Mark Richards, that battering ram of a centre forward, has got the goal there for the team from Burslem. Shrewsbury 0, Charlton 3 here. So Telford 3-0 down at home to Wolves in a friendly, and Shrewsbury 3-0 down at home to Charlton in the Carling Cup. It's a long, long way back. How did the Town go about clawing this one back, Steve Cross?
Well, it's a big test, isn't it, Stuart? We had all the plaudits on Saturday, and the team were doing...
Oh, the ball flashes across the face of the Town 6-yard box, and Smith leaves it this time. Smith beaten 3 times in 7 minutes. Ball is kept in on this near side. Charlton oozing with confidence now. Solly in field to Stavrino. Sure, Charlton expected a really tough assignment here tonight, but now they can play with real confidence with this 3-goal cushion. They have it with Terry Rackon in his standout yellow boot. Plays it square to Solly. Just playing some keep ball now. Charlton, teams from higher division, always so comfortable at knocking it around. It's like a training ground football at the moment for the Addicts. Town 3-0 down to Charlton. All to do, but Charlton get a bit sloppy at last. They give it away in the centre circle to Big Harold. Uses right, bottled up straight away. Challenge comes in, and out of play it goes, and that will be a Shrewsbury throw midway inside the Charlton half on the left-hand side, to be taken by Matthew Sadler, the former Birmingham player. Taken down on the chest well by Harold on the left-hand side. Good skill from the big man. Plays it back to Harold, whose attempted ball into the box is charged down. Well won back by Sean McAllister for Shrewsbury Town. McAllister to right. Now it's with Raven to Robinson. What Town would do for one of his goals now. But Robinson's control lets him down. His touch deserted him, and he gives away a free kick. Charlton take quickly. Here's the dangerous Lee Martin, pulling all the strings for the Londoners tonight. Charlton pouring forward with Borley Smart. Here's Abbott, who's on a hat-trick. Abbott shoots and it's over the top. But this front two for Charlton, he should say first and foremost, I don't think Town will come up against a quality forward line such as Martin and Abbott every week in League Two. And what we've seen so far, it's a very good job.
Yeah, it is. It's a slick into passing, changing, between the two centre forwards. And I think Town's back four have got to decide whether to come out and actually challenge the two centre forwards, because as it is, Abbott's playing up front on his own, and Martin.
But wait a minute, Robinson could be in here. Robinson on goal. Can he get one back? Robinson! He's done it again. Route one. Long clearance to the keeper. Robinson went 1-on-1 with the keeper, and a really confident little dink over Warner. Could it be a turning point? We shall see. Tanner on the board at least. It's Robinson again. It's Shrewsbury 1, Charlton 3.
Yeah, very good goal by Robinson, because still had a lot to do when the ball was planted over the top. Route 1 football, but Robinson 1-on-1 with the keeper, took his time, had a little look up. Keeper went down and he slotted it in that bottom left-hand corner. A ray of hope in a disappointing half, Stuart.
That is a massive ray of hope, isn't it? Jake Robinson still top of the tree in the League 2 goal scoring chart. 4 goals now for Robinson. He's equalled his entire campaign for the last season in League and Cup. 4 goals he scored throughout the entirety of that campaign, and 4 goals he has in one game and one half of this new season. Route 1, long clearance from the keeper. Defender Lira misjudged it. Robinson was away, out came the keeper, and a really composed, classy little finish from Robinson, lifting it over the keeper.
Yeah, it certainly was, and as you say, it just gives Town a little bit of hope coming to the end of this first half, and it might just make Charlton think again as well, because Robinson is such a live wire. And that was a foul. Come on, ref.
Clear foul. Robinson wanted it. Clear handoff there from the big centre half. Yado Mambo of Charlton Athletic, but the man in charge, Carl Evans of Greater Manchester, decided it wasn't worthy of a free kick. Yado Mambo, by the way, 18 years of age. He's a big lad. Had loan spells last season with Welling and Dover and Staines. Brings back painful memories mentioning Staines and the Town's FA Cup exit. And here he is tonight at the heart of the Charlton back four. The Charlton side who lead here by 3-1 in the Carling Cup first round. We had 4 goals on Saturday. Town got 3 of them. 4 goals tonight. Town have conceded 3 of them. In the pre-season friendly at the New Bucks Head, Telford's final dress rehearsal, the final warm-up act, if you like, before the real thing gets underway this weekend. It's still Telford 0, Wolves 3, and we played around an hour back with Nick Southall when we reached half-time in this one in about 8 minutes' time. BBC Radio Shropshire. It's a very watchable cup tie, that's for sure. Lots of goal-mouth action. And as Francis delivers from the right-hand side, good header away from Graven. Chance for Ainsworth to stretch his legs. Real buzz of anticipation when he gets on the ball. Ainsworth runs at the full-back Solly, raking crossfield ball right. Won't give that one up, he'll get after that one. But he runs away from him, and he goes out of play, and that will be a Charlton throw in the right-back position. Elsewhere in the Carling Cup, our old friend Grant Holt has scored for Norwich City. Norwich City 2, Gillingham 1 at Carrow Road. Bradford 0, Nottingham Forest 1, Matthew Thornhill. Julio Arca's got a second for Middlesbrough, who are 2 up at Chesterfield's new stadium. Peterborough 1, Rotherham 1. It's an equaliser there for the Posh. Leicester also back on terms against Macclesfield, 1 apiece at the Walkers Stadium. Swindon lead Leyton Orient 1-0, John Paul McGovern. Brentford 2, Cheltenham 0. And more good news for Port Vale. Here could be the upset of the night. QPR of the Championship 0, Port Vale of League 2 2. Sean Rigg adding to that earlier goal from Mark Richards. Here at the Greenhouse Meadow on BBC Radio Shropshire. Extra time with me, Stuart Dunn, tonight. Steve Cross alongside. It's 3-1. Could be 4 here though. Here's Martin. Real chance for 4-1. He's away from the keeper, and Sharps clears with his knees right on the goal line. Should have been 4-1 and game over without a shadow of a doubt.
Graham Turner's going absolutely potty on the touchline, Stuart, and he knows that his centre halves, they've got to drop off. You know, the big centre half for Charlton is just pinging balls forward over the two of them. They've got to drop off and give themselves a little bit of space, because the two Charlton centre forwards are so quick. They're getting on the other side of them and creating chances. Yep,
the keeper for Shrewsbury, Ben Smith, very, very exposed at the moment. Charlton corner, headed away well by Harold. Terry Rackon back into the box. It's an agricultural clearance from the captain, Sharps. It's effective. Ball collected by Solly, the left fullback. Keeper wants it, keeper gets it, Warner. Thought that look was going to be 4-1. He looked so composed, Lee Martin. Waltzed around the goalkeeper, who committed himself. And Sharps had the presence of mind to get back, and it hit him on the knees. Still 3-1 Charlton. Here come Town with the live wire. Jake Robinson up against Mambo. Robinson making a real nuisance of himself. Takes a second defender to snuff him out in the end. Here's Sadler for Shrewsbury. Square ball to Sean McAllister. Little turn from the former Sheffield Wednesday man. Here's right, 30 yards out. Shrewsbury 3-1 down in the Carling Cup. To McAllister, to Sadler now. Sadler to Ainsworth, 25 yards out, right hand side, right next to the touchline. Gets the ball in though, bounces away from Big Harold. Here's right shoots right across the face. Again! Harold was in there. I think it could well have been an own goal though from Mambo. Yep, Harold will receive the congratulations of his teammates. That looked an own goal though from Big Mambo. Town have got another one back here. What a cup tie. Shrewsbury 2, Charlton 3.
And I thought Shrewsbury were guilty of just keeping the ball a little bit too long, Stuart, at that time. But it all created a break free for Wright on that left-hand side. He smashed the ball across the face of the Charlton goal. As I say, I think one of the Charlton centre-halves got the last touch right into the bottom corner of the net. But who cares? 3-2, Town are back in this game.
Well, I think it was Yado Mambo there who went lunging in. It was towards Harold. You can tell if a guy hasn't scored. If Harold had scored his first competitive goal, he'd have been doing a lap of honour, the arms would have been up. He always sheepishly received the congratulations of his teammates. I'll stand corrected if he did get the touch, but it looked like an OG. Shrewsbury should have been 4-1 down seconds earlier. As it is though, it's now Shrewsbury 2, Charlton 3. Game on. What a cup tie in the Carling Cup at the Greenhouse Meadow tonight on BBC Radio Shropshire. Here is Harold going shoulder to shoulder with Mambo. The entire mood has changed around the meadow as Harold tries to win a corner. Thinks he should have had one. Won't get one though, says referee Carl Evans. It's a goal kick to Charlton Athletic instead. The Londoners clearly rattled.
Yeah, it is. It was a big test, wasn't it, Stu? 3-1 down. As I say, I think Sharp cleared the last effort of Martin off the line with his chest. 4-1, I think the game's over. But now Town straight back up the other end. Fantastic.
Let's go to the Bucks Head for an update. Telford Wolves, Nick Southall.
It's Telford 0, Wolves 4, but let's forget about the goal for Wolves. We've got a serious injury for Telford left winger Sean Evans. He's gone down in the hip just below our commentary position. Both sets of physios are on. An ambulance has been called as well, and he's being given oxygen as we speak with the stretchers right next to him. He looks in a lot of pain, and it looks like it could be a very, very serious injury indeed. We'll let you know as soon as we know about what his state is. But Wolves have scored a 4 through Sam Whittle, his second goal of the game. Telford 0, Wolves 4.
Thank you, Nick. Oh, that's awful to hear about Sean Evans. Wish him well. It goes without saying. Sean Evans, I remember, being at Shrewsbury Town as a very highly rated youth teamer before joining Manchester United for a substantial fee. Didn't quite happen for him at Old Trafford, and here he is trying to work his way back up the ladder with Telford, and let's hope it's not as serious as it sounds there, as described by Nick Southall, our Telford United commentator. 2 minutes to go in the first half on BBC Radio Shropshire. It's Shrewsbury 2, Charlton 3 in the Carling Cup. It's an awkward ball into the Town box. O'Donnell deals with it. Awful clearance from Raven. Abbott's underneath it, and it sits up nicely for the goalkeeper. That's a poor throw out from Ben Smith. Got a bit overexcited. Right though, wins it back. Gets away from Francis. All the ball's got out of play just. That's a real pity. He'd have been away there. It's like catching pigeons at times, isn't he, Wright? As is Ainsworth. It's a Charlton throw on the halfway line. They lead 3-2.
This is a roller coaster first half show. I think we've had everything, haven't we? And as I say, Charlton again, another chance in front of goal, and Shrewsbury on attacking.
Here come the Town. Yeah, McAllister, 20 yards out. McAllister, reverse ball to Robinson. Robinson shoots deflected behind from Mambo. Corner to Shrewsbury Town. He had options there in the middle. Can't blame him for shooting though, the form he's in at the moment, Robinson.
No, definitely not. As I say, I think Ainsworth was wide on this right hand side. completely in space. But as I say, when you're around that goal, Robinson, he's got one, he's got 3 on Saturday. He was looking to get another one as an injury to a Charlton player, Stuart.
Yes, Terry Rackon. Terry Rackon's gone down injured round about the halfway line, so the Charlton physio has been summoned onto the field of play. 30 seconds to go in this first half, plus a bit of stoppage time. Rackon still receiving treatment. Began his career at the French club at Marseille, so there's pedigree for you. Also played for a couple of French top flight clubs. Joined Charlton in 2007. And he's an international, Steve, is Terry Rackon.
He looks at his
10 points if you get it right. I'm sure Nick Southall would get it right in the commentator's question. Guadeloupe? I think that's the correct pronunciation.
Yeah.
Let's hope he's okay to continue. He does look a decent player. Stoppage time, end of the first half. 4 minutes have added on time. Shrewsbury 2, Charlton 3. Katanga back on toes before the interval. Corner taken short from Wright to Sadler. Sadler scoops the ball in towards the far post. Harold rises down towards Sharps on the chest. Overhead kick from Sharps. Drake towards McAllister. Takes it down, and it's hooked away desperately by Stavrino. Shrewsbury Town will have a throw 20 yards out. Walsall 0, Tranmere 1 in the Carling Cup. Ian Goodison for Tranmere. It's Hereford 0, Colchester 2. 2 quick goals for the Essex club at Edgar Street. Here's Ainsworth down the right hand side. Good ball in. They're queuing up. Everyone misses it. Here's Wright. Blocked. Is it handball? Is it handball? No, says referee Evans. And Mark Wright can't believe it.
Oh, great play from Ainsworth. Absolutely tore the fullback to shreds. Turned him one way, turned him the other. But a fantastic cross into the back post. Wright hitting a shot across the face of goal. We both thought that it hit a Charlton player's hands on the way through. Referee was only a couple of yards away, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But great finish in Shrewsbury in this first half.
Yep. Almost it seems as though Town have to fall behind to get going this season under Graham Turner. Took the hammer blow of falling behind to Bradford to get them playing, and it took 3 Charlton goals tonight to get them playing. That's a bit unkind. Town did play well for the first 25 minutes. Conceded against a run of play, conceded 2 quick goals thereafter, but they're back in it, a 3-2 down. McAllister squeezes the ball in for the left-hand side, well cleared by Terry Rackon. It will be a Shrewsbury throw.
They don't want this half to finish, Stuart. That's a problem.
Yeah, Charlton will be desperate for the half-time whistle. They're out for the count, aren't they, this Charlton Athletic side? They must have thought they were home and hosed at 3-0. But Town have clawed it back to 3-2. Robinson and then an own goal. Harold working hard. Uses Raven. Great ball. Disley in the penalty area. Right hand side. Run across the face. Right sneaches in. On his knees as the ball goes flashing across.
Fantastic.
Really good high-tempo footballers from Shrewsbury Town. Charlton throw in the right-back position.
Oh, excellent play, Stuart. Excellent play from the Shrewsbury players there. Fantastic one from Disley. What a ball from Raven. First time pass into his path. Great ball from Disley. And Mark Wright on that back post, coming in as all wingers should do. Just couldn't get enough on the ball to guide it into the net. But great finish here from Shrewsbury.
Yeah, really enjoyable cup tie. Attendance just been handed to us. Just under, well, look, it's about half what we had here on Saturday for the Bradford game. Not bad though. 3,700 inside the meadow tonight. 359 have travelled up from the southeast to support Charlton Athletic, who were 3-2 up on BBC Radio Shropshire. Half-time whistle imminent. Then we'll cross to the new Bucks Head for the latest from Nick Southall. Shrewsbury giving it a right good go here though, having left themselves with a mountain to climb, having leaked 3 early goals. Here's Raven, hangs the ball up to halfway, ball bounces out of play, and that will be a throw-in to Charlton. Phil Parkinson, hands in pockets. Very sharp suit he's got on as well. Looks like drain pipes, aren't they, the trousers? Fashionable bunch, so aren't they, down in the Big Smoke in London?
Oh yeah, definitely, yes. It's always, they're always sharp and flash, aren't they, down there, Stuart?
Yep. Shrewsbury 3-2 down here to Charlton. Almost half-time. Sharp and flash in the nicest sense, of course, of friends from down in the south of England. Here's Ainsworth. Crossfield ball. It's a good one as well. Oh, almost found right. Just cut out by Scott Wagstaff. The temperature is beginning to drop here. 25 to 9. on a Tuesday night as we move towards the middle of August. BBC Shropshire, Shrewsbury 2, Charlton 3. Here come the Town, and Sadler couldn't wrap his left boot around that one. Goes over the top. Goal kick to Charlton, and half-time whistle any second now, Steve Cross.
Yeah, I think as the keeper kicks this, the referee will blow his whistle, but a great finish from Town, Stuart, to say, 3-1 down with, chance cleared off the line by Sharps. Could have been 4-1, could have been all over, but Town right back in this game. I'm sure Graham Turner will have encouraging words for his players at the way they finished this half.
Bad news for one of your other former clubs, Steve. Derby County are 1-0 down at League Two. Crewe, an own goal from Barker in stoppage time. There's half-time at the Greenhouse Meadow. Town might be losing, but listen to the ovation. Go. Town throw to be taken by Sadler, 20 yards out on the left-hand side. Needs some options. Wright and Robinson, both available. Charlton marking tightly. Sadler gets it back from Wright. Strong run from the left-back. Does well to squeeze the ball in. And it's played out of play by Mambo off the back of McAllister. And Charlton Athletic will have a goal kick. No changes made by neither Graham Turner nor Phil Parkinson, the Charlton boss, at half-time, so it's as you were. Shrewsbury playing 4-4-2, Smith in goal, back four, Raven, Sharps, O'Donnell and Sadler. In midfield, Wright, McAllister, Disley and Ainsworth, and up front it's Harold and Robinson. Charlton, Warner in goal. Back four, Francis, Lira, Mambo and Solly. Midfield quartet, Wagstaff, Stavrino, Racon and Smart. And up front it's Martin and Abbott, and they've shared the goals for the London club. 2 for Abbott, 1 for Martin. If you just joined us, Charlton were 3-0 up after 32 minutes, 3 goals in 7 minutes, but Town ending the first half strongly. Jake Robinson scoring a neatly taken goal, and then an own goal, we think, from Mambo under pressure from Harold from a right cross on the left hand side. It's game very much on. Boots up here from the Charlton midfield player, Stavrino, and McAllister just walking away from that one. Disley, I beg his pardon, and it will be a free kick to Shrewsbury Town. It might be a statement to the obvious, but the next goal absolutely pivotal in this cup tie.
Yeah, true words, Stuart. Yes, as I say, if Charlton get it, it'll give them more confidence to go on and win the game. But if Shrewsbury get it, they're right back in it, and I can see it going to extra time and even penalties.
Here's Wright for Shrewsbury Town on the left-hand side. Wingers haven't swapped sides as yet tonight. They did on Saturday. But tonight, Wright having a go on the left-hand side. Ainsworth, who's been pretty quiet so far, Lionel Ainsworth. You sense he's that sort of player who's going to dip in and out of games. Yeah,
and plus the quality of the fullbacks that they're facing tonight are far better than Bradford's on Saturday. And, it's I think that's the difference sometimes. I'm sure they'll have a lot of joy against some of the League Two fullbacks this year, Stuart.
Early goals in the second half elsewhere in the Carling Cup. Leicester have turned it around against Macclesfield. They were 1 down, they're now 2-1 up. Matty Fryatt for the Foxes. Same competition, Doncaster 1, Accrington Stanley 0. Here at the Greenhouse Meadow, it's still Shrewsbury 2, Charlton Athletic 3, in front of 3,700 tonight. Town free kick on the halfway line, taken square by Raven to O'Donnell. Sadler now lifts it forward with that sweet left peg of his towards Harold, putting pressure on Mambo, and Shrewsbury edging forward. They have a throw on this left hand side. Can they turn this one around? It would be a terrific comeback, wouldn't it, if they were to get back on terms. Remember the debut season here, Town were 3-0 down to MK Dons in a league game and came back to draw 3 apiece. James Constable with 2 of the goals that night, including a very, very late leveller. Can they come back from the dead again? They're having a really good go at it. Here's Wright, looks for Robinson. That's a panicky clearance from Simon Francis right onto the roof of this Ronan Wycherley stand at the Greenhouse Meadow as darkness begins to descend on the southern outskirts of the county town. The lights are on. There's always something special about watching a game under the lights. It's Robinson, good skill on the left-hand side near the corner flag. Sadler now drives it in, and it took a bounce and into the chest of the goalkeeper, Ross Warner, who hasn't made a save yet tonight. The two efforts on goal have whistled past him, so Town could perhaps work him a bit more maybe in this second half. The second choice Charlton keeper, Phil Parkinson, the Charlton manager, making no fewer than eight changes tonight to the team which beat Bournemouth on the opening day of the League One season in front of more than 16,000 fans at the Valley on Saturday. Charlton now come forward down this right-hand side. Little flick from Stavrino, takes it out of play. And Shrewsbury will have a throw in their left-back position. Stavrino, by the way, a Cyprus under-17 international, yet to feature in the league for the Addicts. Has played on loan at Ebbsfleet, not too far from Charlton in the conference. So in some ways it's a really good chance for Shrewsbury Town, because it is in some respects a second string Charlton side tonight they're up against, so they'll be fancying themselves to maybe get back on terms. Here's McAllister, who's had a steady game tonight, in for the suspended Kev McIntyre. Back into his own half he goes, towards Sharps. Ainsworth stabs it to O'Donnell. It was a risky ball, but that's a lovely ball from O'Donnell. Made it his, and he uses it well. To right, now McAllister bursting into the box, lacked that yard of pace, a bit of acceleration, still finding match fitness, and the ball is cleared by Mambo. Full time at the Bucks Head. Telford had been beaten by 4-2 by a very young Wolverhampton Wanderers side. Just two first teamers in the side selected by Wolves tonight. They were 4-0 up. Then Sean Evans of Telford received a horrible injury, and Telford got 2 late goals back. 4-2 the final result. Get the summing up from Nick Southall very shortly here on BBC Radio Shropshire. Just wait for a convenient moment, because Charlton are coming forward with Wagstaff into Rackon to the dangerous Martin shoots, and it fizzes over the top. Let's go to the Bucks Head. Full time, Telford Wolves, Nick Southall.
To Wolves 4 it finished. Wolves racked up 4 quick goals, 2 from Sam Winnell, fellow forward Jake Cassidy, and an own goal by Martin Naylor provided the goals. But Telford had a better second half. Greg Mills and Alex Meacham, the goal scorers for Telford. But it's that serious injury to Sean Evans which everyone is talking about. We'll be speaking to the manager, Andy Sinton, and you can hear that after the Shrewsbury game. It finished Telford 2, Wolves 4.
Thank you very much, Nick. Look forward to hearing from Andy Sinton. Sure we'll get to know his voice very well on the airwaves of BBC Radio Shropshire this season, as he looks to make an impact, having made the move up from the Hampshire club at Fleet Town. Telford beaten 4-2 tonight. The real stuff for them begins on Saturday. Adam Green and Shropshire United live from the Bucks Head on Saturday. DAB commentary of that one, and FM commentary of Shrewsbury at Macclesfield with myself and Steve Cross. It's a good back pass from Sadler to Smith, hangs it up towards Hopper. Oh, that's a really forceful header into the back of Harold's head from the centre half. Here's Robinson though, shoots a long way, oh, just wide. What a hit from Robinson. He's full of confidence, cut inside and bang, 25 yards, and he just swerved away from the left-hand post.
Yeah, great effort, wasn't it, from Jake Robinson again. We thought the referee was going to stop the game for a challenge on Harold, who took quite a bump off the Charlton centre half. But great first touch from Robinson again, flicked it inside, set himself up, knew exactly where he wanted to put the ball, just wide of that right-hand post. But good signs for Shrewsbury.
Anybody who doubts just what a big part in a footballer's life confidence plays has only got to look at Jake Robinson this season and Jake Robinson of last season. He looks a different player.
I always say, Stuart, whenever people ask me about the makeup of footballers, I always say it is 95% confidence. It really is.
Here's Wright on the burst on the left-hand side. Francis gets there ahead of him and puts the ball out of play. That will be a Shrewsbury Town throw-in. 20 yards from this corner flag on the left-hand side. Town fans making themselves heard as they chase the game here. 3-2 they trail to League One Charlton. Sadler, who played in the Premier League at 17 for Birmingham City. Lovely ball, back to Robinson. What can he produce here from this tight angle? Robinson spins and lifts it into the box. Terry Raccon's there in those easily identifiable yellow boots, and he puts the ball out of play. Shrewsbury getting up a bit of a head of steam here. They believe they can get back on level terms here, and who knows, maybe go on and win it, ideally inside the 90 minutes. Still a long way to go in this tie. We've only had 9 minutes of this second half. McAllister forward to Robinson, sharp turn, right, will shoot, well blocked, spins out to the far side. Raven to Ainsworth, edge of the box, 20 yards out, lifts it into the box. Did it take a touch? No, it didn't. And it goes out of play for a goal kick. Good stuff this though from Shrewsbury Town.
Yeah, it is, Stuart, because at certain times you want the players to whip the ball in, but Robinson and right down this left-hand side, just keeping possession and waiting and creating chances, and that one went for Mark Ryber, a fantastic block by the Charlton player. And Ainsworth just couldn't get his cross right in the end, but it's encouraging signs.
More Carling Cup goals up and down the land. Port Vale, what a story they are, 3-0 up at Queen's Park Rangers. Mark Richards is second of the night for Town's League 2 rivals. Leicester have got a third against Macclesfield. Matty Fryer to gain, 3-1 to Leicester. Notts County have taken the lead at Plymouth, 1-0 there. Dan Graham again for Watford, who lead 3-0 at Aldershot. James Constable, Town Old Boy, his second of the night. Oxford 5, Bristol Rovers 1. Exeter 1, Roy Keane's Ipswich 0, Ryan Harley. And an international latest as well, of course, England play Hungary tomorrow night. Let's hope Joe Hart, Town Old Boy, starts for England. He should do. Italy, who had such a horrible World Cup, and tonight they're losing 1-0 to the Ivory Coast, and it's Yaya Touré, the big money Man City midfield player, who's got the goal there. Italy, who look just like Shrewsbury do in the same playing strip in any case. I think Town could give the Italians a game at the moment. They've really lost their way, haven't they? Such a proud footballing nation who had such a poor World Cup. We're fine people to talk though about poor World Cups, aren't we, the English? Here at the Greenhouse Meadow in the Carling Cup round 1, it's still Shrewsbury 2, Charlton 3. And Charlton on the move here with Wagstaff, good run. Well halted in the end by O'Donnell. Right with the ball up to halfway, great chest control from Harold, who's big and strong. To McAllister. McAllister loops the ball out to the right hand side. Ainsworth, good little piece of skill, plays it over the head of Solly, who then looked for Raven, who was well forward, but the move breaks down. And here comes Charlton. Town fans thought the ball was out of play there, but on we go. Some of the Town subs warming up here. Danny Taylor, Tom Bradshaw, Shane Cansdall, Sheriff all having a stretch. Just wonder how far McAllister can go, Steve. He hasn't played too much in pre-season. He was looking for a club, turned up at Shrewsbury Town a week before the big kick-off, had 20 minutes on Saturday as a sub. Just wonder how long Graham Turner feels he can go tonight in this one.
Yeah, just as you were saying that, Stuart, I think his legs are going just a little bit, finding it harder and harder to close people down, and I think if any change will come, it'll be McAllister for one of the other players.
Shane Cansdall, Sheriff, you'd think. He scored a cracking goal against Ipswich at this stage of the Carling Cup last year.
Yes, he did. It was a screamer, wasn't it? Left foot, top corner, and he's a player who can fill in various positions this year for Town if he doesn't reclaim his centre half position back, and he's a good steady midfield player as well.
Shrewsbury 2, Charlton Athletic 3. Here's their best player, Martin. Finds a Wagstaff on the right hand side. Looks for Abbott, who's on a hat-trick, but that's really good play from Sadler. From Raven, on his chest, back to Ben Smith. The goalkeeper beaten 3 times. Town on the move now. Robinson back to goal on halfway to Raven. Lovely ball. Harold could be in here. Harold, really good covering from the left fullback. Solly was given away about 7 or 8 inches in height, and he nipped in there, picked Harold's pocket, and denied him a run on goal. Charlton about to make a change, sending on one of their first team regulars, Kyle Reid, who scored a couple of goals to help Wolves into the Premier League a couple of years ago, so he's a decent talent, and he's being stripped and ready for action by Charlton Athletic manager Phil Parkinson as we move towards the hour mark. McAllister, good ball to the feet of Harold, nice control, holds the ball up really well, Matt Harold, and this time he brings Raven into it. Raven moves into the Charlton half. McAllister knitting play together neatly again to Harold, and here's a chance for Ainsworth to get into the box on the right hand side. He wins Town a corner. Really nice football again from Graham Turner's side.
Yeah, good play. Yeah, ball retention was excellent. They built it up, came out 2-3 passes. Matt Harold was at the centre of everything there, and his final ball for Ainsworth just getting blocked by the fullback, but a dangerous position here now for Shrewsbury from this corner.
Here comes a change for Charlton. on 59 minutes, number 11. Kyle Reid coming on and making way. Bally Smart. It actually on the back of the programme has got his proper name. Mavdibna Lezacha Smart.
Yes,
I prefer Bally. Bally Smart. He's gone. He's off on 59 minutes, and Kyle Reid, who used to be at West Ham, comes on for him. Town have a corner. They always say you should never make a change when you're defending a corner. Well, Charlton rue that old adage. So corner is taken towards Sharps, who got it all wrong, headed it away from goal. Back into the box the right way from Raven. And now with McAllister, Sharps loops it into the box, could break for Harold. Bit of uncertainty in the defensive ranks. It's out to Ainsworth. Ainsworth drives it in. Peels for handball. It's another corner though.
Excellent there from Shrewsbury, 3 or 4 times keeping the ball alive. I think Sharps headed one back in, and Raven at right back as well got involved. So keeping the ball alive, Stuart, and another corner on this right hand side. Is
there an equaliser in the offing here for Shrewsbury Town? An hour played. They trailed 3-2, having been 3-0 down at one stage. Corner taken towards O'Donnell, 3-3! And it's Daniel O'Donnell hitting all the right notes for Shrewsbury Town. Come up the hour, come up the man. Town are back for the dead. It's Shrewsbury 3, Charlton 3.
They deserve that goal, Stuart, because they've been pressing for the last 10 minutes. In and out, in between the Charlton defensive back four, and they really deserve that. I'm pretty pleased for O'Donnell, who made the mistake in the first half, got himself back into the game, and what a powerful header. You know, Sharps and O'Donnell can be a big threat for us this year, Stuart, you know, with their power in the air. They're tremendous from set pieces, and I think Ainsworth just changed it, just whipped the ball, coming outside instead of going inside, and O'Donnell was there with a powerful header right into the roof of the net.
Something about the Carling Cup first round and goals at this place. Shrewsbury 3, Ipswich Town 3 last season. Town lost on penalties. And here we are, 12 months on. It's Shrewsbury 3, Charlton Athletic 3. And Charlton, remember, we're 3-0 up. Scarcely believable. What a fight back. It is. Gray and Turner's side.
It's important now, Stuart, that you know, Shrewsbury stay in this game now for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Always dangerous when you just scored a goal.
Charlton have a free kick here, some 30 yards out. It's on the angle. Kyle Reid on as a sub, having a look at this one. So is Lee Martin. Time just have to be switched on here. They've looked irresistible going forward tonight. Here comes a free kick, and it's glanced wide by Francis. It was half a chance. Maybe better than that.
It was, Stuart, yes. He was unmarked to that back post. A great ball in from Martin, the lad who's been dazzling for Charlton tonight, and he should have done better with his header. So another escape there for Shrewsbury, really.
Another quick roundup of goals elsewhere in the Carling Cup. Town old boy Granholt has scored his second of the night. Norwich lead Gillingham 3-1. Preston a 2-up at Stockport. Anthony Elding scored for Rochdale. They're 1-0 ahead at Barnsley. MK Dons 1-1 against Dagenham. Peterborough 3-1 up on Rotherham. Aaron McLean. Brentford 2, Cheltenham 1. Giles Coke has broke the deadlock for Sheffield Wednesday against Bury. 1-0 to the Owls. Upset on the cards on the Lancashire coast. Morecambe 2, Coventry City 0. Leicester 3, Macclesfield. We're there on Saturday, Macclesfield 2. And Port Vale 3-1 up now at QPR. German has got one back for the Londoners. Another one of the London clubs up against it here. Charlton Athletic, a Premier League side not that long ago. They've thrown away a 3-0 lead. It's 3-all. Carling Cup cracker, that's for sure. Here's Disley for Shrewsbury. Square ball to Dave Raven. Dave Raven forward to Ainsworth. It's only one winner at the moment. Those words will probably come back and haunt me, but you know what I mean, Steve. Do you go along with that?
Yeah, it is. You know, it's a strange thing, Stuart. You know, the balance of play was all Charlton's in the first half, and then storming back at the end of that first half, and they're in possession again, and they're doing really, really well. Charlton on the back foot. They're there for the taking.
Here's Reid, though, in the final third for Charlton. Poor ball. Doesn't pick out anybody in a red shirt, and it goes behind, and that will be a goal kick to Shrewsbury Town. 9:10 on a Tuesday night. Extra time with me, Stuart Dunn, Steve Cross alongside me as always at the Greenhouse Meadow. Really enjoyable night of Cup football. If you're tuning in expecting the late show with Rob Underwood, it will follow hopefully at 10 o'clock if Town can get the job done in 90 minutes. Otherwise we might have extra time. Still a long way to go though. 26 minutes to go before we have to contemplate the thought of an extra half an hour. Ipswich have equalised at Exeter in the Carling Cup. 1 apiece, and Hereford 0, Colchester 3 now. Charlton have put together a few more passes since they were pegged back to 3 apiece, and they're coming forward here, not for long though. Disley, good interception. Here's Harold on halfway. Harold looks for the run of Disley, just a bit overhit. Manager Turner applauds the effort, and Town really expressing themselves. Too often Town were a bit direct, weren't they, last time? They go for the easy hit and hope ball over the top and hope someone could get in round the back. But this side play a really entertaining brand of attacking, passing football. They have to defend here though. This is good play down the right hand side. Ball is played into the box by Wagstaff. Good hands from the keeper, and a nice early throw as well from Smith. And here is Ainsworth in full flight, having a go to the fullback Solly. Ainsworth twisting and turning, stands it up towards Harold, wins the header, could have break for little Robinson. Solly let the ball bounce and he hammers it away. Only as far as Disley. Town pouring forward in search of the lead here. Can't believe I'm saying that after being 3-0 down after 32 minutes. Here's Ainsworth on the right hand side, cuts inside, great ball in, right on the volley, and he got it all wrong, and it hit Francis. Wouldn't have got it anyway. I think it hit him in the unmentionables. I'm wincing from here, Steve, for Simon Francis, who's walking a bit gingerly, shall we say, as Charlton spring forward with Wagstaff on the right hand side. Good ball in, and again good hands from Ben Smith, the keeper, who's having a much more composed and authoritative second half in goal for Shrewsbury.
It's end-to-end, Stuart, isn't it? It's absolutely fantastic game. Both sides, going all out to try and win this game. But Ainsworth on the right, just starting to come into the game a little bit more now, Stuart. Every ball that goes out to him, he's producing either a cross or a pass into the box, which is dangerous. And that's good for Shrewsbury. Charlton
now coming forward a bit more with Terry Rackon, who took a knock in the first half, shot from outside the box to Reid. Not too far wide. Smith thought he might have got fingertips to that. Charlton fans behind the goal certainly thought it should have been a corner. All 359 of the travelling fans who have left the capital for a night out in Shropshire, but it's a goal kick.
Yeah, I think the Charlton players were thinking he took a deflection as well, all running towards the corner flag to take the corner, and the referee decided it was a goal kick, so it worked well in Shrewsbury's favour. But it'll be interesting to see if Graham makes any substitutions in these last latter stages of the game, because there'll be a lot of tired legs out there.
McAllister has seemingly got a second wind in midfield. The recent signing from Sheffield Wednesday, he's going again. Probably just thought he needed to get him firing again, seeing Shane Castle Sheriff warming up.
Sometimes managers do that, Stuart. They get the subs warming up to just to G the players up. If you think you're having a bad game and the substitutes are warming up, you soon start running.
Here's Martin, could be in here for Charlton. He's hit the bar on the follow ball.
Oh my goodness!
What a miss from Abbott! It's the miss of the season.
What a miss!
Martin prodded against the bar. Abbott on a hat trick, 7 yards out, and he's put it over the top. Remarkable.
That could go down as one of the misses of the season. I'm sure we'll see that on a video compilation somewhere in the season, because that was a very, very poor miss. Martin, once again, absolute live wire of Charlton's attack. Excellent player. And he's beat, I think, David Raven for pace on that left-hand side of the penalty box. Just nicked it. It smashed against the crossbar. Came back for Powell Abbott. I thought he was about 3 yards out, Stuart. You're doing him a discredit. I think it was a really, really poor miss. But in Shrewsbury's favour, so who cares?
Well, the chap sat directly in front of us, working for BBC Radio London tonight. They would have put that one away, I'm sure. Bradley Allen.
In his sleep.
Yeah, member of the famous Allen footballing dynasty. Good player with Bradley. Played for Charlton and Queen's Park Rangers. And I bet he was wincing as he saw a fellow striker sky one from point blank range. It's still 3 apiece here. Shrewsbury 3, Charlton 3. Midway point of this second half. It's a rip-roaring Carling Cup tie. Really enjoying this start of the season. We're being spoiled, aren't we? Here's Harold to right on the left-hand side. Town chasing a 4th goal and the lead for the first time this evening. Here's Sadler. Good improvisation. Ball comes in and Harold's having his shirt pulled there by Lira. Clearly having it was ripped off his back. The referee Evans didn't spot it, and now he's given Charlton a soft decision on halfway. Elsewhere in the Carling Cup, Leicester a 4-2 up on Macclesfield. Richie Wellens for Leicester. Scunthorpe have equalised against Oldham, 1 apiece at Glanford Park. The South Coast derby has a goal. Adam Lallana, Southampton 1, Bournemouth 0 at St Mary's. And here at the Greenhouse Meadow on BBC Shropshire, we're all square. Shrewsbury Town 3, Charlton Athletic 3. In the pre-season friendly, which kicked off at 7 o'clock, Telford beaten 4-2 by a young Wolverhampton Wanderers side tonight. Greg Mills and Alex Meechan, the Telford goal scorers, a night marred by what seemed a very serious injury to the Telford winger Sean Evans. Bucks fans, if you haven't gone along tonight, or if you're driving home from the game at the Bucks Head, stick with us on Radio Shropshire. When we're done here, we will hear, hopefully, from Andy Sinton, the Telford manager, who will hopefully tell us better news, fingers firmly crossed, on the state of Sean Evans, who had to be stretchered off in a very bad way, according to our man at the ground, Nick Southall. 20 minutes to go at the Greenhouse Meadow, 3 apiece. Must have a winner if we're still level at 90 minutes into extra time. And if we're still level, it would all come down to penalties. Charlton playing a bit more like a League One side in the last 5 minutes, coming more into it. Francis now looks for Martin, and the ball runs away from him, and it goes through to Ben Smith. Charlton about to make their third and final change. Graham Turner still leaving things alone. They're about to send on the old stager Gary Doherty, the former Irish international. Shore up the back line, you would have thought. He used to be a forward, didn't he? Now he plays at the back, Doherty. Sadler to Disley. Disley to Wright, Harold. Lovely one-touch football. And in the end, Harold asks a bit too much of Sadler. And the ball runs out of play. Charlton throw in the right back position. And here comes the switch. And it's the man billed as star player for Charlton in the match programme, who's coming on with 90 minutes to play. Doherty. And the man going off is young Mambo, who we think scored Shrewsbury's second goal tonight. Harold might have had a case, it looked as though he was an OG.
Yeah, Doherty's experienced player, Stuart, isn't he? I'm sure Phil Parkinson is putting him on to try and shore up this Charlton defence. It's looking a little bit shaky at times, the way Shrewsbury are pouring forward with numbers, and I'm sure he'll add his experience to this Charlton back four and try and keep them out.
Well, he won 34 caps. The Republic of Ireland at Gary Doherty has just come on. Cost Tottenham Hotspur £1 million. And spent 6 years at Norwich City, helping them to promotion from League One last season before joining Charlton Athletic in the summer. He's on to try and shore up their leaky backline. 3 apiece. Charlton on the attack. Rackon, what a tackle that is from Disney. Oh! You can probably tell from the fans it's been given as a free kick. I thought that was a super tackle from Disney.
Yeah, the only thing is, Stuart, he tackled from behind, and the referees are outlawing the tackle from behind. It was a clean sweep, it was a fantastic tackle from a footballer's point of view. He took the ball, but he scissored the Charlton player, unfortunately, and referees give him a booking. I think he's very unlucky, Craig Disley, but that's the law of the land, I'm afraid.
Free kick in a useful position as well for Charlton. Rackon stayed down injured here. Carling Cup latest, Chesterfield have scored against Middlesbrough, Dwayne Mattis. Borough still 2-1 up though in that one. Leyton Orient are back on terms at the county ground. Swindon 1, Orient 1. Leeds have got a fourth against Lincoln, 4-0 all over there. Neil Kilkenny from the penalty spot. And it's Stockport 0, Preston North End 4. Paul Simpson's Stockport County against one of his other former clubs, Preston North End. I don't think he was flavour of the month with a lot of the Preston supporters, so I'm sure they're enjoying their night out at Edgeley Park. We'll come face to face with Paul Simpson at the end of this month when Shrewsbury go to Stockport. I think it's August the 28th. He's okay, Rackon, to continue. He's back on his feet. Town have built a 6-man defensive wall. Should be galling if Town were to lose it, having clawed their way back from 3-0 down.
Yeah, well, Stuart, the wall's got to be right here. Ben Smith has been lining the wall up for the past 30 seconds while Raccon's been on the ground getting treatment. But it's really important they stay strong and link together to protect Ben Smith in that Shrewsbury goal. Miguel
Lira looks as though he fancies this one. Town have built this 5-man defensive wall now. Disley's joined it as well. Ben Smith bouncing up and down on his goal line. Lira goes for goal, left footed, takes a deflection over the top corner to Charlton. Raccon's okay to continue. John Truick, the senior coach here, signalling to one of the subs. I think we might be about to see either Tommy Bradshaw or Benji van den Broek. Looks as though it could be Tom Bradshaw about to come on here for the last 16 minutes.
Could be the pair of them, I think,
yeah,
Stuart. They're both getting instructions.
Yeah, why not switch it? Maybe rotate the strikers for the last 15 minutes or so. Corner comes into the box, headed away well by Raven. Ball bouncing around in the Town back line. And here's Wright on the right side. Good ball to Ainsworth. Lovely turn, lovely spin. Robinson to this side, Wright the other way. Lovely ball for Ainsworth to Wright. Robinson in the box. Wright cuts inside and good covering from the defender, got back there. Town working hard. Ball in towards Harold. Harold on the head, and it's gone in! It's 4-3! It's scarcely believable! They were 3-0 down! And now they're 4-3 up! And it's big Matt Harold! A conic of upset on the cards with 15 to go. It's Shrewsbury 4, Charlton 3.
Well, that all came down from a mistake by one of the Charlton players. I think it was the left back who had an absolute nightmare. I think thought he was leaving it for the keeper. He took too many touches on it. I think it was Jake Robinson who got a touch and laid it out to Wright again. Lovely ball to the back post. And there was Matt Harold, who still had a lot to do, Stuart. A tremendous header into that top right-hand corner. Fully deserved for his performance tonight. Superb.
Poor the keeper might have done better. I think the keeper's been awful for Charlton. He hasn't made a save all night. And it did seem to squirm past him. He deserves.
I think he thought he was going wide, to be fair, Stuart.
I think he did. His poor judgment. He's got this garish bright pink goalkeeping shirt on, as Ross Warner. And if you played like he has tonight, you wouldn't really want to stand out.
Not really, no. It's but what a fantastic goal. You know, it was well worked. Great pressure from the Shrewsbury forwards to get the ball back into play. And what a great finish from Matt Harold. Super finish.
We won 5. Chant the Town fans. Shrewsbury 4, Charlton 3. Is this really happening? Town, remember, were 3-0 down after 31 minutes of this game. They got it back to 3-2 before the break. And now they're 4-3 up. Town scorers tonight, if you're joining us and you missed a cracking game, where on earth have you been? Robinson got the first, an own goal from Mambo for the second. O'Donnell the third, and now Harold on 76 minutes, 4-3. What a game. Super. Here's Ainsworth on the right-hand side, has support from Raven. What will Ainsworth do? Ainsworth has a go at the fullback. Kyle Reid it is, and it was Kyle Reid who dilly-dallied in the build-up to Town's fourth goal. He's a first choice. Super header from Harold, his first competitive goal for the club. And Town have a free kick. Van den Broek and Bradshaw were about to come on as well when the fourth goal went in. They've been told to continue warming up. Town free kick whipped in by Ainsworth, headed away. Was that handball? Appeals for a penalty against Wagstaff, not given. And Town will build again with Wright. Wright, good skills from the on-loan Bristol Rovers man, and a lovely crossfield ball taken down by Ainsworth, who's really delighted on occasions. Little glimpses of skill from Ainsworth, just to illuminate football matches. Dizzy now scoops it forward, and this time our friend in the bright pink shirt, Warner, comes out and claims. And Charlton have used all 3 of their subs. Phil Parkinson stands just on the edge of the dugout, watching on. 7-goal thriller in the Carling Cup. Shrewsbury 4, Charlton 3. And it's the mother of all comebacks from Shrewsbury Town. Has this been done before? I'm trying to think of a similar comeback. In the first season here in the league game, we mentioned it earlier, Town were 3 down against MK Dons in League 2, got it back to 3-3. But to be 3 down and then to actually take the lead, that's going some.
Well, we said there wasn't it was going to be a big test for the Town, Stuart, and I think they passed that with flying colours so far. They've really took the game to Charlton, scored the goals at the right time, and I think it says a lot about Charlton, you know, the character of their players. 3-0 up and you're losing 4-3 with 10 minutes to go. Says a lot about their players as well.
Yeah, Charlton must have thought subconsciously they were as good as through, even a third of the way through the game. When you're 3-0 up away to a lower division side, it's some result there. Shrewsbury 4, Charlton 3. It's not a result yet though, it's a scoreline at the moment. Town have to make it a result, and what a result it would be. They're 4-3 up here. Elsewhere in the Carling Cup tonight, Ipswich 2-1 up at Exeter now. Dave Norris. Leyton Orient lead 2-1 at Swindon. Swansea have got a second against Barnet, 2-0 there. Darren Pratley with the goal. Wickham 1, Millwall 1, and MK Dons have just taken the lead against Dagenham, 2-1. at Stadium MK. 11 minutes to go. What a night on BBC Radio Shropshire. Goals are plenty. Telford beaten 4-2 by Wolves in a friendly, and here in the Carling Cup it's 4-3 to Shrewsbury Town against Charlton Athletic. Fallen giants, you might call them. Town fans loving this. 7 goals in 2 matches. Breathtaking start to the season. Can't wait for games now, the Town fans all of a sudden.
Well, I'm sure, Graham Turner will get the players back into the change room, and hopefully after a victory. There's 10 minutes to go and we hope they're going to get a victory, but they've set the standard, the players, and it's hard to fall below that standard, Stuart, when you've played so well, and this will make a few people sit up and take notice of Town, I'm sure. Charlton,
what have they got in the locker? Can they force extra time? It's with Rackon, Kyle Reid, that's not a bad ball in. Here's Reid again, this is dangerous. Reid in round the back, stands it up, no one there for Charlton. And Town can clear. I must have missed a rule change, Steve.
Yeah,
I thought there was 3 subs. You must be allowed more subs in the Carling Cup these days.
It must be, Stuart, yeah.
Because Akpo Soji is about to come on, the former Sheffield Wednesday player.
I must admit, Stuart, that one's got me as well. I didn't know there was a rule change. Perhaps you're allowed 4 or 5. Is it 5 this year? I'm not sure.
Well, that one I've got to hold my hands up, has completely passed me by that you can use more than 3 changes. Akpo Soji about to come on. Here come Town, can they get a 5th? Ainsworth into the box towards Robinson, and out comes the keeper, and he claims it this time. Here from Andy Sinton, Bucks fans at the end of the game. So have they made 2 changes? Let's have a look. Yeah, I think, we've miscounted.
We have.
Apologies, it is still 3 subs. Can read my writing. 2 subs they've used, so it will just be a 3rd. No rule change. Panic over. We haven't missed anything.
I was writing my answer to the Football League already, Stuart.
It's all that about. Here does come the 3rd and final change. Well, at least we're keeping count of the goals, that's the main thing. Losing count of the substitutions.
And it's been such an exciting game, Stuart. There's been so much effort and everything from everybody. It's a simple mistake, and let's just hope this Uppish Soji is coming on. We've seen him before. He's one of the Soji brothers, isn't he? And
lots of them, isn't there? There is Berry, and there's a few others, isn't there? Sam Soji as well, who I think was at Charlton as well, who he was last year. Yeah, big footballing family, the Sodges. Modern day Clarks, if you like. Frank Clark, who played for Shrewsbury.
Definitely.
His famous brothers, Alan and Derek and Kelvin. Wayne, how can I miss Wayne? The most obvious for us, maybe. The young Cypriot midfielder, Stavrino, has gone off. Akpo Soji on for him with 8 minutes to go. BBC Radio Shropshire. Stuart Dunn and Steve Cross with big smiles on our faces at the Greenhouse Meadow. It's Shrewsbury Town 4, Charlton Athletic 3 in the Carling Cup first round, and Town, I won't get tired of saying this, were 3-0 down. Remarkable transformation. Doherty's gone through the back of Harold there. The old stager gets away with it as well. It's an apologetic pat on the back for Harold as the Town striker struggles back to his feet. Vondenbroek about to come on. Oh, this is Reid, he's in here for 4-4. Reid, explosive run. Reid shoots it to the side netting. Should have been 4 apiece.
Oh, I said terrible mistake. I think it was a good save from Smith in the Shrewsbury goal, Stuart. The referee's awarded the corner, so I can only imagine he's got a hand to it. But 3 Charlton players on the 6-yard box. All he had to do was roll it across the 6-yard box, and it would have been 4-4. But poor decision making from the Charlton player.
Corner to Charlton Athletic. Take it into a congested penalty area. Raven gets his head to that one. Where will the ball bounce? It will fall to Wagstaff on this right hand side. Oh, great tackling back from Robinson. Look at the space from right here. Tag could be into finishing. It's Ainsworth. Ainsworth on the charge, really going alone. Ainsworth into the penalty area. Defender's done well. Ainsworth has nowhere to go, and it's anticlimactic. But it's easy from the back of the stand. Didn't quite get his head up in time there. Could have been game over had he looked up.
That just shows the pace of the side, though, Stuart, doesn't it? Robinson's won a ball back on his 18-yard box. He's turned, and Ainsworth has run probably 50-60 yards to get on the end of Robinson's ball. Oh, fantastic. And Robinson coming off, I think, changed from Vandenbroek. Jake Robinson once again. Well-deserved round of applause from the Shrewsbury fans.
Yep, standing ovation again, 2nd in 4 days for Jake. They love him here these days. He's the blue-eyed boy. And here comes another popular player, Benji Vondenbroek, the Dutchman. who's unlucky not to be in the starting 11 because he had a very good pre-season, Benji. But he's on for the last 5 minutes. Let's hope it's no more than that. We don't want extra time. It's Shrewsbury 4, Charlton 3 in the Carling Cup first round. Charlton on the ball now, ball into the box, headed away well by Sharps. Here's Disley, improvises well. Raven stabs it up towards the halfway line. Van den Broek working hard to get Town heading in the right direction. Macclesfield giving it a right good go at Leicester in the Carling Cup. It's 4-3 to Leicester now. Colin Daniel for Macclesfield. Exeter 2, Ipswich 2. Ryan Harley is second of the night for Exeter. Bristol City 2-1 up at Southend, and it's Doncaster 1, Accrington 1. Peterborough 4-1 up at home to Rotherham, Craig McHale-Smith, and Scunthorpe now lead Oldham by 2 goals to 1. It's a free kick to Shrewsbury here on the halfway line. John Truick, ironically, was manager of Hereford when they knocked Charlton out of this competition at this stage last season, 1-0 after extra time. He'd love to knock out the Addicts again. It would be a good scalp. About time Town got a cup victory. They fed at the first round stage in all competitions last season.
Exactly what I was going to say, Stuart. Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it, just to get into second round, get a big club down here, or someone that we feel we've got a chance of beating.
Here's Ainsworth on the right hand side, ball in, and the keeper this time uses his hands well. Normally we sign off extra time on a Tuesday night with a highlights montage. To Rob, who's doing a super job back in the studio, I suggest tonight we just go out with the goals, otherwise we'll be on till 10:30. So we just have the 8 goals, please, Rob, to go out with tonight. Just the 8 goals, 7 goals. I'm losing count again. I don't want an 8th goal. We'll leave it at 7 goals gladly, because that will mean that Shrewsbury have held on to claim a place in the second round draw. Charlton come forward now with Miguel Lira, the Spanish centre half. Here's Racon, 40 yards out, knocks it to this right hand side to Francis. What have Charlton got left? Can they force extra time? A little over 9:30 on a Tuesday night. Carling Cup cracker tonight. Shrewsbury are 4-3 up here on BBC Shropshire. Ball swung into the box, well cleared by O'Donnell, who's got among the goals tonight. Right, Tilly Dallas, will it be fatal? Has his pocket pinched. Here's Francis on the overlap, strong run from the right back. Can he supply the cross? And he wins a corner right. Key to make amends for being a bit too casual. Goes lunging in. It's a corner to Charlton with 3 minutes to go here.
Yeah, this is where that Shrewsbury got to be disciplined and alert now, Stuart. They're taking a short corner.
And Francis crosses. Doherty's in there. Doherty's round the back. There is Doherty. Squeezes the ball back. Van den Broek does well. Van den Broek, can he bring the ball away? No, he can't. To Racon with a fully committed challenge. Racon again. Ball in, and it's headed away superbly by Sadler, the left full-back. How to play. Preston have got a 5th at Stockport. Stockport 0. Paul Simpson, Stockport 0. Preston North End 5 in the Carling Cup. Simpson's old club Shrewsbury doing rather better. Still work to be done though. Francis from a long way out, and it's miles wide. Goal kick, Shrewsbury Town.
Yeah, it's excellent closing down from Matt Harrold again. He's worked his socks off tonight. It really has. I think a lot of supporters were wondering what Matt Harrold would bring to this club, Stuart. And people from Wycombe Wanderers, his old club, and places where he's played before, have said, yeah, he's a bit of a target man, but he's put himself about tonight tremendously. He looks fitter. He looks lean and mean, and I think we've got a centre forward on our hands here. I really do.
Is he a better player? I know it's 30 days, but do you think he's a better all-round player than Dave Hibbert, the man he's effectively coming to replace?
Yes, I do. I don't think he'll cover as much ground as Dave Hibbert did, but it's his striking role. He's a pivotal player for all the other players around him. He gets hold of the ball. He's big and he knocks people about, which is exactly what you wanted for in a centre forward. Super
atmosphere at the Greenhouse Meadow, 3,700 here, and they're loving it. Hope it's coming over on the radio. Shrewsbury 4, Charlton 3. Andy Sinton on the way, the Telford manager, hopefully. Let's see if we got confirmation of that. Nick Southall trying to hunt him down for an interview, the Telford manager. And hopefully we will be hearing from Andy Sinton before we're done and dusted on extra time tonight on BBC Radio Shropshire. Town have this free kick. Terrific noise. Free kick taken along the ground to Van den Broek. Right.
Hit it.
Might think about the shot. Racon nicks it back for Charlton. And then Charlton can pour forward with Akpo Soji. Here's Reid. Lots of the first teamers on now for Charlton as they chase the game. Reid, Maisie run, good tackle from McAllister. It looks as though he's going to go the distance, McAllister. Will do him the world of good, some match sharpness. Here's Rakan, shot comes in, and it's just wide! Oh, did Ben Smith have that one covered? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he did. Wasn't too far wide of his right-hand post.
Yeah, looks a class apart, doesn't he, Rakan, the Charlton player. He's moved everything in midfield tonight, but great closing down again there by the midfield, Shrewsbury midfield. They're just going to see this game out, and I think that's important. How to win games, Stuart. You say professionals need to see out games, and it's exactly what Shrewsbury need to do here.
Well, Graham Turner said he wanted to build a team that's going to entertain. Boy, is he well on the way to doing that. 3-1, great game on the opening day against Bradford, and what a story tonight unfolding here on BBC Shropshire. Town were 3 down, they're now 4-3 up against higher league Charlton Athletic, a team who graced the Premier League not too long ago. They might get a fifth here. It's right, slips the ball through. Van den Broek's onside. Van den Broek saved by the keeper. Van den Broek again, he's hit the post. Oh, how did he miss? Much easier to score. Keeper made a save, and then Van den Broek steers a rebound against the post, and it goes wide for a goal kick. It's a pile on the agony. We're going to play 5 minutes of added on time here from somewhere.
Well, that was a great chance, wasn't it, for Van den Broek to open his account for this season, but lovely ball. I think it was from Ainsworth again, just put him through. Did really well. Keeper did well for Charlton, blocked his first effort, and Van den Broek just couldn't drag his right foot out, hit it with his left foot, hit the post, and went out for a goal kick. Great effort, but still a long time to go in this game.
The goal was gaping. Sean Evans has a badly broken ankle, by the way, we're hearing. Sean Evans of AFC Telford United, a badly broken ankle. So hopefully he'll be back playing as quickly as possible. Meantime, here at the Greenhouse Meadow, Charlton have a corner in stoppage time, which is driven in, well headed away by O'Donnell for Shrewsbury. Shot driven in by Reid. Good header away by Sadler. Town have got everyone back behind the ball, holding on to what they have. Still 4 minutes of stoppage time to be played. Rakan scoops the ball into the box. Great forceful header from the captain, Sharps, and now Sadler does the same. Town can now spring forward. Charlton have pile men forward. Van den Broek to Disley. Ainsworth wants it. Disley, good ball to Ainsworth. Right, still has the pace to get forward. Ainsworth heads towards the corner flag, trying to run down the clock. It's a wise course of action in stoppage time, and it's a Charlton throw-in right next to the corner flag in the left back position. Town nearly there. 4-3 they lead Charlton. Matt Harrold completing the comeback. Heroic comeback in the 76th minute, but wait a minute, here comes Charlton again. Martin from a long way out. He's been very good tonight, but that was not the best. And it's wide.
Charlton players absolutely furious with him, Stuart. Absolutely furious with him. He had 2 or 3 Charlton players to his right, one to his left, and he's tried a shot from 35 yards, which I think Ben Smith could have thrown his cap on. But they just need to see the game out, Stuart. That they've done excellent tonight, Town. Absolutely superb performance after being 3-0 down. A fully deserved victory if they can see this game out.
And Town fans playing their part as well, really urging their favourites over the finishing line here. Terrific noise. You'd think there was more than 3,700 inside the Greenhouse Meadow tonight. It's all here on your number one station, BBC Radio Shropshire. Stuart Dunn and Steve Cross, almost down to biting off fingernails time here. Charlton might have one final hurrah, you think. They have the ball some 40 yards out with Martin. Martin dinks it into the box. Town have to be switched on as Sadler with the clearance. Town with plenty of blue shirts back behind the ball. Could break to Sodje here. And he was leaning into Raven, clearly. And that will be a goal kick to Shrewsbury Town inside their 18-yard box, and we have played 3 minutes of the 5 additional minutes here. So Town 2 minutes away from a place in the second round draw for the first time in 4 seasons.
Exciting. It's exciting for the fans, isn't it, Stuart? It's the fact that we might get one of the big clubs down here, or we might get an away fixture somewhere, one of the big clubs, but whoever we get, we fully deserve to go into this second round. We really do.
Yeah, talk about winning the hard way. 3-0 down, you have to pull yourself up off the canvas. Town aren't there yet, though. 90 seconds of stoppage time to play. Town are 4-3 up. Charlton edging forward with Martin. Francis now, the right back, 30 yards out, tosses the ball in, and the keeper watches it like a hawk. Really good hands from Ben Smith. That was a horrible ball. Horrible. Could easily have misjudged that.
Yeah, it was a great cross from the right back of Charlton. I thought the Charlton player just going to get a nick in front of Smith, but he saw it all the way, and it's a hard ball to pick up as well, just bouncing in front of him. But he's had safe hands tonight.
McAllister for Shrewsbury to the right end of the park now. Ainsworth will try and run down the clock again. Good pace from Ainsworth. Ball comes in now and it's scooped away by Miguel Lira, the central defender. Town have a throw. 35 yards now. This is going to be a hard act to follow for Town at Macclesfield on Saturday. Shropshire United, remember, on your radio from 2 o'clock. Adam Green live from the new Buckshead. Telford against Hyde there. That's on DAB and online. Shrewsbury Macclesfield with me, Stuart Dunn and Steve Cross. As always on 96 FM. Can't wait for that game. The way Town have started this season, with plenty of goals in them. 4-3 they lead here at Charlton. And by my stopwatch we have had the 5 additional minutes. Town just have to keep the ball at this end of the pitch and there will be an almighty roar from Town fans. Good jockeying from Van den Broek. He's got no intention of going any further than that little corner of the field on the right hand side, right next to the corner flag. And now Charlton have a throw. On we go, 20-10 on a Tuesday night. And there it is. Listen to the roar. It's a famous cup night at the Greenhouse Meadow. Graham Turner, who worked the magic in the cup all those years ago, he's still got it, you know. Town were 3-0 down against Charlton, but they've come back to win by 4 goals to 3, and now they will hope to pick out one of the big boys from the Premier League in the second round draw.
Sure that at 3-0 down tonight, what was going through your head at that stage?
Well, I thought it was a travesty that we were a goal down, let alone 3 down. I thought we started the game quite well. I thought we passed it and created good crossing opportunities without any real clear-cut chances coming from them. But I thought we had quite a bit of the ball and one big ball over the top, and we won down. And then we slipped up a little bit, conceding further goals. But generally, the performance wasn't too bad, and I think there was a strong belief in the side we could get back into it, and we needed obviously the break. Jake Robinson gave us that one, and then the one before half time was crucial because they got the dressing room at half time buoyant, and we felt in there we could go on and win it the way we were performing. And I think again some of the play in the second half was first class. The movement, the forward movement of players, the passing of it has been, I think, of the highest quality again tonight from both sides, and I think it's been one of those classic cup ties from our point of view anyway.
It's not very often a team goes 3-0 down and comes back to win. I mean, you've had a long managerial career, but I'm sure even in yours that hasn't happened too often.
That's correct.
Did you? For Shrewsbury, though, a cup run's a big deal, quite important for you now, isn't it? Because there hasn't been many of those in the last few years at this club.
Well, I think the thing is the winning mentality. That's what you need in the club, whether it's cup ties, whether it's league matches. It spreads. You can get that belief in the dressing room if you win games, and obviously from tonight's result and last Saturday's, there is a belief amongst the players in what we're trying to do, and obviously the income from a decent cup run would be very welcome. And another home draw against a big club would be very welcome, but it's just that winning mentality that games like this breed within the club.
Some good goals tonight. Nice to see Daniel O'Donnell getting off the mark, and Matt Harrold especially, I'm sure, as a striker.
Yeah, well, Daniel, it was a good equaliser, powerful header from a corner, and then obviously Matt Harrold, a well-placed header. Nice for him because he's worked hard in the 2 games without the goals reward that strikers need, but he's off the mark now, and there's a lot to come from Matt. He works tremendously hard for the team.
Forced the mistake for the second goal as well, didn't he, from their defender?
Yeah, that's right, and it was a crucial goal, that one, to put us in at half time 3-2, as I say, that led to the dressing room being buoyant, and we kicked on from there.
Sean McAllister came in the side tonight, hasn't had a lot of football. You must have been pleased with the way he played.
Yeah, at 22 he's played I think 70 odd championship matches. He's quite an experienced lad for one of his age. And without too much pre-season or too many matches in pre-season, I thought he came into the side and settled in extremely well and played an important part for us.
I'm sure you've got a confident dressing room in there as well now after 2 consecutive wins, both from behind.
Well, they're all sat in an ice bath at the moment, so I don't know whether they'll be confident or what, but I think it's now getting back down to earth. You often get a backlash when you get results like this and games like this. So it's getting back down to earth and making sure we're ready for Macclesfield and we're not carried away by anything that has gone on tonight.
McAllister chased the lost cause, didn't he, for the last goal?
Yes, he did, yeah, and showed good endurance at that stage of the game when he hasn't had much football so far. So, but I think there was a lot of willingness about the side to chase lost causes, but there was also one or two very clever through balls played, and perhaps we should have done better with them.
You'll work on the defensive errors now, will you?
Well, there'll be other occasions when the defence earns us points. It wasn't their night tonight, but they're playing against some very good forwards, very sharp forwards, so we can put that right, but I'm not unduly worried about what's happened tonight defensively. We can work on that. What I am pleased with is that we're in the hat for the next round.